And it's time for Lefties Losing It. Let's start the program by hearing from a tolerant, loving and inclusive lefty who is calling on her fellow lefties to, shoot their political opponents? No, really, that's what she's saying. And yes, she's got those crazy eyes.
Okay, guys, so I would like to start a new movement called CMAGA, because people like that respond to fear and terror and aggression, not logic and empathy and, I don't know, intelligence. It doesn't work for them. So fear works. So if we all get our guns and use our Second Amendment right and our common sense, at this point this administration is begging us to rise up and revolt. And you see somebody with a MAGA hat, pew pew, that's what we do.
Just imagine the echo chamber this lunatic exists in, that she thought it was a good idea to say this, to tape this and then put it on the internet.
It's the only way. Put them back in their basements, make them scared again to be racist, homophobic, and terrible, just awful pieces of because I would way rather live next to immigrants than MAGA people. MAGA people deserve to be terrified and scared to walk in the streets because they should know that real Americans are going to kill them.
And if you thought that was bad, she's now doubled down and is singing her death threats. I really think it's time to reopen the asylums, all of them.
See MAGA, pew pew MAGA, see MAGA, pew pew MAGA, see MAGA, pew pew MAGA. So these mother know we here to play. You can't run around and with our neighbors. You can't be a homophobic piece of you can't just be generally awful.
I wonder if the authorities have caught up with her yet. Now, I think we need to hear from the opposite of whatever that was. Here is my gal, Sarah Gonzalez, and she had me worried here for just a second.
Oh my God, I am literally shaking right now. I just read the news that John Bolton's home was just raided by the FBI. We knew this was going to happen. At the exact same time it was being raided, Kash Patel posted on X, "No one is above the law." And I just want to make one thing really clear. I voted for this.
Isn't she fabulous? I love her. Now, one of the best ways to handle lefties is to lampoon them, mock them till they cry and then mock them for crying. We love works of satire like this.
We're gender fluid. You can only be allowed in our LGBTQWSTYZ community if you have pink, green or blue hair. Stand up for our rights! We're gender fluid. When you join our community, you get a free septum piercing. Stand up for your rights, everyone! Stand up! We're gender fluid. This tree misgendered me. Ah! It's literally genocide! We're gender fluid. We shout at people that misgender us even though we don't know our gender half the time. Stand up for your rights now! LGBT community!
Now, the era of the unfunny comic is almost over. You know who I mean, the Hannah Gadsby types who inflict leftist lectures on their audiences rather than any laughs. That era is almost over, but not quite, because look at who's being celebrated in Edinburgh. Yes, it's a British comedian you've never heard of, trans comic Sam Nicresti. If only he was funny.
They really think they've got us nailed on sports. Oh, look at these trans women, they're so good at throwing, they've got an unfair physical advantage. I thought the whole point of sports was someone has an unfair physical advantage. No, it's not my scene, but is it someone's born with good knees and then they win, right? If I'm in a race with Usain Bolt, I'm not standing there like, well, this isn't fair, he can run faster than me. That's sports, one person wins. 99% of professional sports players are losers for a living, and I don't care who hears me say it.
Yeah, that's as good as it got. And that act, that deeply unfunny therapy session, won the best comedy show at this year's Edinburgh Fringe.
It's not just a gendered thing, because believe me, if I started playing women's rugby, those women would snap my spine. The subtext of these arguments when it comes to trans women is always the same. Men are pretending to be women in order to invade female-only spaces. Sports, prisons, toilets, lush. Always the same. I don't get why, hack comedians hate them so much, taken to the airwaves to express their opprobrium at the gender-neutral toilet brigade. I thought hack comedians would love gender-neutral toilets.
About as funny as an ingrown toenail. Now let's check in on the Democrats in the great state of Florida. This next rep is having a little meltdown because Governor Ron DeSantis painted over a rainbow crossing and made it look like an actual crossing.
Hey everyone, it's Representative Ana Villascamani, and I'm here right now at the Pulse Rainbow Crosswalk that FDOT thought was appropriate to sneak into our community in the middle of the night and to totally erase. Who decided it was appropriate to erase an entire community here in Orlando. We're not going to let it stand. We're going to do everything we can to restore this crosswalk, but to also fight back against the extremism coming out of both the state of Florida and the White House.
Now, there is a divide in America. It's a divide between the cities and smaller towns. There's a divide between blue and red states and cities. If you want to see real America, then forget about LA and San Francisco or New York. Head south for a road trip through places like Texas, Tennessee and Florida. It's a different country. It's practically a different world, a better one. And that's why so many New Yorkers and Californians and other blue state dwellers are fleeing to the red states. And here, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis explains his foolproof political strategy.
I actually do have a cheat code to be governor of Florida. I just look at what California and Illinois and New York, but particularly California, I look what they're doing, and I just do the opposite. And that works out very well. They allow homeless to take over major cities. We don't do that in Florida. They are a sanctuary state. They give illegal aliens benefits and invite them in. We do the opposite.
But as Ron DeSantis explains, the lunacy and reckless leftist policies of blue states still impact the whole country.
They issued a commercial driver's license to an illegal alien who didn't speak English, worked for a California company, and he ended up killing 3 people in Florida recently, and we're now holding him accountable. But their policies are not only been bad for California, they are spilling over into other states and has been very, very destructive.
Joining me now is Newsweek Senior Editor-at-Large and Article 3 Project Senior Counsel Josh Hammer. Josh, you're one of the millions of Americans who in recent years has moved south, moved to a red state. Tell me about the two Americas and why you made the decision to move.
Yeah, so Rita, I've actually lived in multiple of America's iconic red states. I've been in Florida now for 4 years. Actually, my Florida-versary is actually this very week. So I've been here for 4 years. I actually also did I did a 4-year stint in Texas as well. So I've actually lived a number of years now in America's 2 iconic red states. I was actually also born in New York State. I went to law school in Chicago, lived in Washington, D.C. So I've really seen both extremes. Rita, I can boil it down to I think a very simple dichotomy, which is that life is easy in red states. Life is harder in blue states. You are taxed more in blue states. You have to turn around behind your back when you're walking the urban streets in blue states because you don't know what kind of criminal or what kind of illegal alien is going to come there. I actually learned this the hard way yet again just a few years ago. I was taking my then girlfriend, now my wife, to Chicago. It was her first time ever visiting there. It was kind of a law school reunion thing for me. Her luxury purse was stolen in broad daylight in Streeterville, which is actually one of the most well-to-do neighborhoods in all of Chicago. This is not kind of South Side Chicago. This is not Southwest Chicago. This is not gang banging violence. This is like real kind of like wealthy inner city downtown Chicago, like professors, academics live there. You know, and Washington, D.C., I mean, my goodness gracious, Rita, I've basically cut down my visits to D.C. in part, at least until Trump's cracked, and I was trying to limit my visits because it's just not as pleasant a place to be anymore there. But on the other side, when I was living in Greg Abbott's Texas, and certainly now in Ron DeSantis' Florida there, life is just a breeze there. I mean, the homeless situation there, we barely notice it here in South Florida. We obviously are taxed exceedingly low there. And government fundamentally is out to just make your life easier. That really, I think, is how I could sum up the difference. Life harder blue states, life easier red states. And by the way, the decennial U.S. Census shows very clearly that all sorts of people are doing exactly what I did. The major blue states, California, New York, Illinois, Connecticut, New Jersey, they're all hemorrhaging citizens. They're all flocking to Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, of course, as well there. So the stats don't lie, as they say as well.